Welcome to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home. Hello, Mary Jane. How are you this week?
Oh, hello, Rhonda. And we've got some sunshine out my window today, but who knows how long that will last.
Well, apparently tomorrow is going to be rain, and more rain. So I think this afternoon would be a good idea to get out and get some of those rays on this guy.
Oh, well, it is February, and we've had a very unpredictable weather all through our winter. So who knows what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
But of course, February is Black History Month, which is Canadian history. And we've been taking the first 8 minutes of our show this February, to feature and highlight Black history. And so I have a little intro and a very personal note for the person I'm going to highlight. But the power of Black stories can benefit all students in all grades, and would really like to see that happening more often. And it's a time when people can share what they have learned through their studies. But Black history is important because it's an opportunity for us to look back at our past, and then to look at our present, and then to look at how we can shape Black futures going forward. And history is like a clock. It can tell us what our political and our cultural landscape is, but it can also be a compass, and a compass of where we are in history and where we think we should be in the future. And so I think we have some guiding points. But the person that I'd like to highlight today is the Honorable Lincoln Alexander. And there's a personal connection here, and that's why I chose him this time. Because he not only is he a leading figure in the fight for racial equality and advocacy for racial equality, he's the first Black Canadian member of Parliament. And last week we mentioned that Dr. Jean Augustine was the first woman of color to be elected to Parliament. Well, Lincoln Alexander was the first Black Canadian to be elected to the Parliament. But he was also the first federal cabinet minister. And of course, he was our lieutenant governor for Ontario for many years. But after that, he also served 5 terms as the chancellor of the University of Guelph. And that's where the personal connection came in, because he was the chancellor at my graduation from the University of Guelph. And he laid my colors on, and I got to shake his hand. So at the time, a few decades ago, when he was at my graduation, I didn't realize the significance of that, simply because I just accepted people as people, and whatever opportunities and achievements they had in life. That was not realizing that he was a trailblazer. And so now I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. But his growing up in the 30s, 40s, and 50s was really fraught with a lot of challenges. We often think of the racial inequality in the United States, but there was definitely racial inequality in Canada as well, particularly during those decades. But, mothers always have words of wisdom. And the words of wisdom from his mother was to always walk tall. Now, he was a very tall man, but to always walk tall with a certain bearing. so that people always knew that you meant business. And you can see where those words of wisdom carried him through his life's journey and the achievements that he accumulated in his life, that also, I'm sure, it helped him with some of those barriers and challenges as well.
Wow, that is amazing. And first of all, though, I'm actually amazed that you remember who handed out your degree, because I graduated from Guelph too decades ago, and I don't even know who was there. Yeah, I did. So I don't even know how long he was there for. Yeah, I didn't know you did either. Yeah, we got way more in common than we even realized.
Well, here we are chatting for 5 years or more, and here we are. I didn't know that you were a graduate of Guelph. I mean, we're a Guelph family, and in terms of my husband and I, and my son, and my nieces, and nephews, and so Guelph is really in our family.
Near and dear.
Isn't that wonderful?
Isn't it? Yeah. And I remember I always told Carolyn when she was growing up, well, the deal she struck was that if she agreed to go to Guelph as her university, would I pay for her wedding dress? That was the deal that she wanted to strike. Now, later on, when I took her to visit it, and I mean, her and Emerson were just little, so it was far too early to inspire them. But her biggest question was, would she get to be part of the meal plan?
Oh, yes.
She wanted that little card that what Uncle Bobby had that meant he could go to any restaurant and get his food. So she thought that was spectacular. And that was the new deal that she wanted to strike with me. So, yeah, well, that was very interesting life history, Mary Jane. And I'm, you always bring a lot of information and things that I would never come across. And that's part of community. And we're going to be talking to somebody or a group from our community after these messages on Grey County Life on Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I did it. I need it.
A hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV at home, but we're not at home for this segment. We're at the Owen Sound Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 6.
Right.
Yeah, so I have the special honor of coming down here today to talk to Anne McCallum and Barry Death, and we wanted to toot our own horns really and talk about this building and all the things that are going on here and the opportunities that people have and the events that are coming up, because I know that you have a very special and lovely Valentine's dance, which I think is going to be after this show airs, but that's okay. We still wanted to highlight what's going on around here. So, Anne McCallum, first of all, what is your role here at the Legion?
I am first vice president, lotteries chairman, ways and means chairman, and like everybody on the executive, General Joe.
General Joe, I like that. I feel for you because it's a hat of or a job of many hats, isn't it?
It is in here.
Yeah,
It really is in here.
How long have you been on the board and the chairs?
now, now that's a tough question because I have been on 16 years this term that I was on before.
Wow.
So I had a break in there with my work.
Yeah.
And I'm still working, but I'm back on the board.
Okay.
So
See, that tells me that it's an environment that people enjoy. And they're not running, screaming from the building saying, no, never again.
I think everybody can tell you have your days that you're going to run out of here and say, I'm never going back. But you do.
Yeah.
Because everybody in here, once you're here, you're family. You know, I didn't know Barry from the whole year. Got in here, and he's one of the best guys I know. Wow. And he's been my doctor, you know, and friend. And he picked up on a chair that somebody needed to help with. And he did it. And that was the same with me. I got a chair that somebody needed help with. And it's getting done. Everybody in here, we're trying to get everybody working together. COVID really kind of divided everybody up in here and shoved everybody because they were all scared and didn't know what to do. And we all kind of pulled away and just sat there and everybody was doing their own thing instead of coming back together. But we're coming back together very quickly, which is branch 6, of course. And we got a lot of activities going. At first, it was really slow trying to get a committee together.
Yeah.
But now I got a committee together and I got 3 people that are just fighting at the bit. So it's fantastic.
That is awesome.
There's a lot of events coming up.
I think it's been a slow return to normal life after COVID.
Yes.
It's been very slow. And I don't think we're 100%. We may not ever go back the same, but it's awfully nice to see things kind of coming together. And so your numbers, your membership, well, we'll talk membership actually with Barry because Barry is the membership guy to talk to. So what events do you have coming up in the next little while besides Valentine's Day?
Okay, well, Friday night we have a roast beef dinner.
Is that every Friday?
No.
Okay.
It's just once a month, and the ladies are just getting back into getting theirs going.
Yep.
So there would then be 2 dinners a month, the way it used to be, but the ladies, of course, the ladies auxiliary, some of them are getting older, and the COVID, we're all there, scared a bunch, COVID scared a bunch of people away, and the ladies' manpower is dead.
Okay.
And so to get a dinner together, they're really pushing it, and they do a lot of funeral lunches. They do different things. So, like, I mean, they're pushing themselves, and they push hard. So hopefully this is going to get back to 2 a month. But right now we have one on the 10th, and we have the dance on the 11th.
Yep.
And that's just getting us going in February, sorry. And then February, I left my calendar elsewhere. We do have a Sunday afternoon coming up with Arnie and the boys. I believe it's the 19th of February. Excellent. Yep. And that will be in the auditorium Sunday afternoon, 2 to 5.
Now, I noticed on the way in, I've come in and out of this building so many times. The blood donation clinics are always here, the blood donor clinics. I've never even realized how big the building is and the extra space over there, the kitchen, the pool tables. Are those things that have been closed for a while, but things are coming open again too?
They're coming open, but once you, in the auditorium where the blood donors are, that's basically open for the public.
Okay.
Once you get into this side, you're getting into the club room, which is members and guests. All community goal savers are members and guests.
That explains why I didn't know about it, because I haven't been a member yet. We're gonna talk to Barry. Let's jump over to Barry. We wanted to talk about memberships and what the benefits are and how you go about it, Barry. And first of all, your name's Barry Jack, and what's your title?
I'm the Veteran Service Officer, and I'm membership chair. And so we have about 790 members. There are 3 categories. You can be an ordinary member, which means you must have served either RCMP or in the military and got out honor grade. Then you have associate members, so you are a son or a daughter of a veteran, ordinary member, or you're a member of somebody who has been in the associate member before. The other category we have is affiliate members, and they're people who really they join because they want to, not because they've got anything connecting to the Legion. And it's divided into 2, one voting and non-voting, but we have very few non-voting. Non-voting is basically somebody's in the United States. They want to be a member here. They can join. They just can't do certain things.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Barry, for the membership, is there an age requirement?
I wish it was young. We just lost our oldest member, which was Charlie Fisher. He was 107. We have about 8 World War II veterans left, and they're members. We have one member here who has been with the Legion for 76 years.
Wow.
And we have some young members, but it's hard to get the young people in when we old people are around.
I just wondered if you had to be over a certain age before you could. I'm sorry, pardon?
18 years of age.
18, okay. Because I do know that we have a number of cadet groups in our community, and whether any of the cadet members would be able to join the Legion.
After they get out of cadets, they can.
Okay, yeah.
They would be an associate member.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the costs involved because I would think that, because myself, I don't have family around that were in the military or anything. If I wanted to be, it's associate?
You can be associate member. And the cost is the same, whether you're a military member, ordinary member, associate, or affiliate. It's $60 a year. We raised it this year, $5. And basically, you can either come here and fill in the paperwork, and it goes to it goes to our executive, and we approve it, and then we initiate you. Or you can join online, which is a bit of pain in the butt when it happens, because it takes 6 to 8 weeks before we get the monies back and we know you're an actual member.
Okay, yeah, because it's not going to go direct to you.
That's right.
It's going to go to the central.
That's right.
Okay.
The only one exception we have is if you are a military member and you haven't been a Legion member, you can get a year's free membership. It comes out of a Legion in Ottawa, but you join and then you transfer back to us.
Okay. And so between those 3 groups, are there different benefits, or are they all the same benefits for all members?
The main benefits are for the veteran and his spouse or those, and that's basically use of the Poppy Fund. Poppy Fund is a trust fund that is set up that can only be used very specifically. Certain things, basically emergency funding for a vet who is down and out, possibly he's homeless. We spent about $24,000 last year on veterans and spouses. So you may also have a spouse who hasn't got their rent is coming due and they have no other place to go. There's a good chance that we can help them out on something like that.
Oh, that's a wonderful service.
Yeah. It's my job as Veteran Service Officer is very fulfilling. The part of my job there is to assist veterans to apply for disability. When they get out of the military, they apply to the military for a pension and don't get it. So our job is basically to say, come on in, fill in the paperwork, and we'll submit it. And the Legion will provide a lawyer for you, no cost. to fight your case for it. And we have a very good success rate.
Wow. So all of the fundraising and things that we do locally, that money stays with this branch
Stays with this
and
branch.
your poppy fund.
Yes.
Wow.
But again, it can only be used for very specific things.
Yeah. Okay. And what are the other benefits of membership at our local?
Basic camaraderie.
We like
games,
that.
Sports. We also have, okay, all right. It doesn't matter about the dinners. Periodically, we'll have dinners for members. You get a discount.
Okay.
Once a year, I hold a veterans dinner, and all veterans, their spouses or caregivers, they get their dinner free for that year.
Wow.
When we have a couple of 94-year-olds. One is 99 now. She will turn 100 this September. And she worked in Camp X, which was the spy camp in Oshawa. She worked there as an instructor.
Wow. Wow.
So fantastic. It's nice to talk to them because they just talk to you.
Yeah.
So there used to be a table out here on that, and it was called the Bull Table. And all the veterans sat around there. And if you came in and sat down, which I had the pleasure of doing a few times, sat down and just listened to some of the stories. There's stories that never got to paper and they're gone, but wow, I heard them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were great.
Firsthand. Yeah. What a treat.
Yeah, and that's just part of being that part of this group. Yeah. You can get into the sports too in here. You can get
Yeah.
in.
So what do you have for sports?
What would you like? Darts. We have darts. We have cards. We have 8-ball. We have snooker.
We have
Shuffleboard. 4 shuffleboard.
We have bowling, carpet bowling. We have, it's not badminton, it's what they play down in Florida.
Oh, racquetball.
It's a racket type ball.
Does it start with letter P? Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Dang. We're all like, what is that again?
So we have all those things going on also.
Pickleball here?
Yep.
For heaven's sake.
Comes in Friday.
Oh my gosh. So do you have to be a member to do those things, or do you just come in?
You come in.
Okay.
Some of them pay a nominal fee.
Yeah.
But it's very minimal.
Yeah.
But if it's sponsored by the Legion, like Ann's darts and pool and golf, that is paid for. But if it's something outside, then there might be a nominal fee because we have to set up and tear down and clean.
Yeah. So, and as a member, you can rent space here.
Yes.
At a wonderful rate.
And you'll get a reduced rate as a member.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, are outside groups able to rent space, and you have a
Yes.
fee for that?
Yes, you call into the office and speak to Margaret, our secretary treasurer there, and she will take and tell you what the cost of. We have 2 rooms we rent out. There's the gymnasium, I think, which holds 350, or the auditorium,
That's
350.
what the clinic is.
And then we have another small room over here, which I think holds 70, maximum 60 to 70.
Seated.
Yeah. So they'll do birthday parties usually over in this side, and the other side, it can be weddings, it can be anything over there. There's a cost involved, and it depends on if you are a charitable organization, there is a discount for that too.
Wow. You know, it's such a beautiful facility, really, and so many different things can come in here. I think I noticed in the auditorium, it looks like they're set up for bingo right now.
They are.
Yep.
Mary Jane. I think we need to get in here for a bingo game. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Bingo every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday.
And there's a dart night, Monday night dart, Georgian Triangle darts. Bingo every Tuesday night. There's a Wednesday night fun night in the branch, which is mainly members, but anybody can come in and join in. The idea is to come in and see what we have to offer you. Thursday
Get
night.
signed in.
Yes,
And if you sign in too many times, we'll ask if you want to become a member.
So if you sign in for a year, then we're going to say, yeah, it's my time. You know?
You better become a member. Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of things happening. Like there's the Thursday night, there's a pool league in here, and those pool leagues, there's a lot of members belong to this pool league. We actually have, and I've got to brag about this, and I'm going to get shot for it, but we have one of our members is going to the Canadian Open for snooker. So we're pretty proud of him.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's been there before, got to the top 16. But,
oh, my goodness.
And the team that he played on, they just finished. I'm also the district sports officer. So they just finished the district snooker 2 weeks ago now and won it, of course.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so they're moving on to provincial. So there's a lot of things happening in here. There's a lot of really good people in here that people don't even realize that those guys are here. Yeah, come on in and find out.
Another thing we'll do is if somebody passes away in your family, you can take and ask to a celebration of life. Now the ladies auxiliary will do the meal if you want, but most of the funeral homes know that we basically we rent out for a nominal fee the auditorium or the other rooms for that. And we have a lot of funerals and funeral lunches done here.
A lot of people don't realize also that for the veterans, the Legion will do a service for a veteran.
Or the service member.
Know that.
Service member, or any member will do a service for you.
Okay.
That's one of my jobs. So.
And I'll bet you that, no offense to other funeral homes or anything, but I'll bet you it's a lot less expensive than
Well, there's no cost for this part. Okay. Now, we quite often will do that in the funeral home before everybody else comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
And if he's a veteran, each of us give, we put poppies on the casket, or and if it's a associate member, or basically we put a maple leaf. So there is a ceremony we do.
With that. Yeah. Wow. Well, it sounds like you have a wonderful community of people here that work together and play together too. And it sounds like fun. So yeah. Well, we really appreciate it. I'm hoping to get a tour of the building before I take off today. But we really appreciate your time and your information here. And I'm sure we'll have on the screen a contact number for the Legion so that if people are interested in becoming members or coming down and finding out what's going on. And I think you probably have an email list for your events calendar. I think I saw that online, so we'll put that up on there too.
Okay.
Yeah, that way they can get on that email list.
And our events calendar is progress.
A work in progress.
That's it.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
We're all a work in progress, and just ask Mary Jane.
We have a brand new PRO officer, and she's learning very quickly. She's doing good.
Fantastic.
Everybody's throwing ideas at her.
Yeah. And if you want to volunteer, it sounds like it's a wonderful community of people to get together with. Yeah.
Welcome to the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Stalo people. The Stalo are people of the river. I'm so thankful for the courage and resiliency of our ancestors who lived on this land since time immemorial. Each of us have gifts from the Creator, and our Creator has a plan and purpose to be fulfilled in our territory. As we embrace our traditional teachings, we can lead the next generation into the fullness of what our Creator designed. Our shared history reveals a broken relationship, but as all Canadians commit to hear truth, acknowledge injustice, we can learn to walk in our traditional way, Letsamot, with a good heart and a good mind. Then all of our lives will be enriched. Kwasai.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking. Join me for my next show, which will be Blue Water District Board of Education. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, and we have the always lovely and informative Mary Jane Murray. And Mary Jane, who's our next guest?
Well, we're really pleased to have Holly Pabusa from the Home and Community Support Services, and she is the Volunteer Resources Coordinator. So that kind of leads us into what we're going to be talking about today. But Home and Community Support Services is such an essential service in our community that we really need to support it. And we're really pleased to have Holly here to give us more information and to talk about some of the things that you need to keep those services going.
Yeah, thank you so much for having.
So go ahead, Holly.
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to, get the word out a little bit more on our agency and talk about how we contribute to the Great Bruce community and the services that we provide.
Yeah, it's for my part, and we were talking about this. I do Meals on Wheels, Holly, and the need in our community is definitely growing, and everybody's aware of the fact that our volunteer numbers have kind of shrunk through the pandemic, and we're kind of easing back into really more normal life. But it's a slow process, and I think a lot of people have just kind of pulled back and stayed back from their contributions in the community. What kind of a need do you have today?
Yeah, great question. We definitely have needs in all of our programming right now, just in order to deliver those essential services to the community. Some communities have higher needs than others. For example, for our Meals on Wheels in Hanover, we have an increasing amount of clients, and our volunteers are not increasing too much. So we're always trying to recruit some new people in that area. We are looking for people in Owen Sound right now. Owen Sound is pretty populated, and so we have, an increase again in clients, and our volunteers that we do have currently right now, in order to make up for the increase in clients, they are doing longer routes, and it's taking more of their time. So to have more volunteers on board would just make it a more enjoyable and sustainable experience for our current volunteers. In terms of transportation, which is another one of our programs, and I'll get into our programs in a little bit, but we have a need for volunteers in the South Bruce Peninsula. It's that is really important right now, but really throughout the whole community, we just see an increase in needs and client needs, and we really want to match that with volunteers, but it is just about recruiting them, and so that's something that we're really, really striving towards right now.
Yeah.
Well, Holly, if you're looking for volunteers, we're hoping that this message is getting out through our program. But what are the commitments, the time commitments that people would have to put into volunteering?
Yeah, great question. So we like to make sure that our programs work with our volunteer schedules. So we want it to be as accessible to anybody who wants to volunteer as possible. And obviously everybody has a different schedule, so we make sure that our positions are very flexible. In terms of Meals on Wheels, for example, we have routes running all the time, but if you can only do it once every 2 weeks, once a month, maybe you can only do Mondays, whatever your specific schedule may be, we can make it work. Meals on Wheels, typically, depending on route numbers and amount of clients on the routes, they can be from half an hour to an hour, and typically pickup is in the later morning, so maybe 11:30ish, for example, and then the route itself would take max an hour. So it's a quite short time commitment. In terms of our transportation program, again, the ball is completely in our volunteers' courts. So if they want to drive long distance for us, if they want to drive short distance for us, completely up to them. If they want to drive once a week, if they want to drive once a month, completely up to them. Any sort of help that they can offer us and that they can fit into their schedule is greatly appreciated.
So do you have to be over a certain age? Like, do you have to be 18 and over in order to be a volunteer, or is there another age requirement?
Yeah, so for most of our programs, you do have to be 18 and above. For our day away program, we do have the option for students, if they're looking for their volunteer hours to complete those, they can go and do that. It's a little bit more tricky because our day away is during weekdays, but there's no age limit on that one like we have for the other ones. So the other ones, you do have to be 18 and above.
The day away, can you explain that?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mary Jane. I'm just wondering, the day away program, can you explain that a wee bit?
Yeah, of
what
course.
the volunteer would be doing?
Yeah, of course, I'd be happy to. So our day away program is something that we're very, very proud of, and we put a lot of effort into always improving it. And so our day away program is essentially a program that provides socialization, recreation, caregiver relief, and medical monitoring for seniors in our community and adults with disabilities that require a caregiver. And so they come to one of our 6 day away spaces in Grey Bruce. So we have day away spaces we have them in, where is it? Hanover, Markdale, Meaford, Owen Sound, Port Elgin, and Wyerton. So all over the place. And it runs from 9:30 in the morning to 3:30. And during that time, in that medically monitored atmosphere, we have card games, we have a hot, nutritious meal provided by one of our meal providers, we have entertainment that comes in, and all of those activities are put on by our wonderful staff. And then we also do have volunteers that come in. Some of them have been coming in for 10 years, 15 years. So a lot of our volunteers report back that they get so much from the program as well, because it's a socialization for everyone involved, and you build relationships with the clients there. So overall, it's a really, really great program.
I would have to say, I mean, if I feel like I build relationships with Meals on Wheels simply handing food over.
Yeah.
You get to know these people. It's a smile on your face, it's a smile on their face, and it's a little connection to your community and feeling like you're not so isolated. So I can only imagine how much of a connection you're going to make in the day away program. That is amazing. And boy, care providers in homes need this service.
Yeah.
I can't imagine not having that as an option.
Yeah, definitely. And so we have, if you are interested in volunteering and you're into that more group environment, we have, as I just mentioned, Day Away, but we also have another program in order to reduce isolation among seniors in our community, and that's our Friendly Visiting program. And that's really great for volunteers who want to provide companionship to somebody, but maybe they want to do it in a more one-on-one setting. And our Friendly Visiting program, again, is a very flexible program. It works with your schedule, and our volunteers are matched up with a client in the Grey Bruce community, and we try to match them up, as close as we can. And their matches are based on their shared hobbies, their shared interests, and you can go for an hour and play cards. You can just have a cup of tea, just have that shared experience and form companionship and really just reduce isolation. And we find that we do have a wait list for that. So we're always looking for volunteers all over Grey Bruce. We have a need right now in the Durham, the East Grey area, so Markdale, Flesherton, we have clients there that are needing matches, but all over Grey Bruce. So if you want to give back in a way that requires a very short time commitment, but is very impactful to an individual's life, our Friendly Visiting is a really amazing program. And our coordinator, Polly, she is very dedicated, and she is very passionate and just loves her job and loves to see the smile that's put on people's faces when she goes in person and goes for their first matchup visit. So that's a really amazing program that we have as well that I just, like to bring some attention to.
Is that something that Sorry, I was just wondering, is that something that a student in high school, perhaps 18 and up, would be able to participate in if they didn't require a vehicle to get to the client's home?
Yeah, so they would have to be over 18 in order to do that. And if they don't have a vehicle, we do have phone call visits as well. So if right now, in light of COVID, if we like to make it so that everybody's comfortable. So if you're not too comfortable having somebody in your home or going to somebody's home, or if you just don't have transportation to get there, we do like to have that option as well, so it's accessible to everyone. But yeah, so if you're 18 or above, then you can participate in that program.
I just want to reflect back on something you said about Polly and going for the first in-home visit. So there must be some kind of training program that volunteers go through, and a vetting program that they go through before you set them out.
Yeah, so we are proud of the fact that recently we've really streamlined our onboarding process with our volunteers. We want to remove any barriers to people coming on and volunteering. So we like to make that process as seamless as possible. So how you would go about starting to volunteer and then kind of our vetting process is you would get in touch with HCSS, and you would get a hold of the volunteer department, which is me, and I would chat with you, talk about your interests, and get either your mailing address or your email, and I send our initial onboarding forms. And those are very straightforward. I'm always a phone call away if there's any questions that a potential volunteer has about filling out those forms. And once they're filled out and sent back to me and all of that is done, then I have a phone call or in-person orientation. We go over our agency's policies, procedures, guidelines, and that's a Q&A period as well if they have any questions about volunteering or time commitments. And then once I'm done with that, I hand them off to whichever program they're interested in. So in this case, we're talking about friendly visiting. I hand them off to Polly, I give her their information, and then she gives them a call and she gives them the program specific information, and she's their resource for any more detailed questions they have about the running of the program. She asks their interests and then makes that initial match and just asks their schedules. And that's going to be the same experience throughout any program that you go to. So you'll be handed off to that program. They do their sort of orientation, and then you're good to go from there.
Oh, I see. Because at one point, some volunteers, particularly in the when they're working with vulnerable adults, whether or not they needed to have a police check.
Yeah, so we do ask for police checks as well. And so in terms of liability, police checks, references, the references are all done behind the scenes. It's very easy. And for the police check, you just have to go online and do it through your local police service. And for the most part, if you want the in-person option, if you find that the online is a little tricky, most of the police services in Grey Bruce offer that. OPP is still online, but I have absolutely no problem taking a call at any point while our volunteers are filling it out, talking them through it, giving them some pointers, and again, just trying to make it as accessible as possible for anybody that wants to volunteer. So even if they're not too great with tech, I'm always there to, help out and make it as easy as possible for them.
Polly, you might want to be careful when you put that out there, because there's a lot of people who watch this show that I'm sure would like some tech help.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm always a phone call away. I can't promise perfection, but I'll do my best.
It is a challenge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know we've only got a few minutes left, but I'm just wondering, are there any, I know you guys are doing lots of fundraising and program awareness campaigns to get people to realize what you guys are offering. And there's such a wide variety. But what's the next fundraiser that you have or campaign?
The next fundraiser and campaign, I believe that in the summer we do Kindness Makes Sense, and Rachel will go all into that. And it's just raising awareness of our programs. It's raising money for our programs. It's reaching out to different connections in the community to work together just to uplift all of our voices and all of our programming. So Kindness Makes Sense is definitely something to look out for. Check all of our social medias for it. Rachel is amazing with keeping those up to date and keeping those very, very informative.
That's awesome. Well, I have to say, I know that, I can only imagine what it's like for you guys to coordinate these volunteers. That is not a job I would want, because I know, when somebody's sick or they've got a vacation and they've got to reschedule or they're not available next week or whatever it is. So it's got to be like herding cats is something that comes to mind, I would imagine. So you guys do an amazing job just doing that part of it, let alone drumming up new volunteers and keeping everything going smoothly. I mean, my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, it keeps us busy. Luckily, a huge help is the fact that once you're onboarded into a specific program, you then have a contact within that program. And we have an amazing team of transportation schedulers. We have our 2 amazing Meals on Wheels clerks, Linda and Tina, and they do all of our scheduling for Meals on Wheels with the help of coordinators in certain areas. So we have a full team of staff that really help the machine run, and we're very, very thankful for everybody.
Yeah. Tina knows me very well.
Oh, she's lovely.
She is amazing, and really, it's true. You can do as little as you want or as much as you want. I mean, I commit to 2 hours a month, and in the great scheme of things, that's not a lot, and it really does help take the burden off of, share the burden, I should say. So, by all means, I think people won't regret it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show today, Holly, to remind us of the need and all the different programs that you guys are coordinating and putting together for our community. And we'll hopefully we might have you back on very soon and have some updates on some numbers and maybe some challenges in our community for volunteers. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the time, and it's been a privilege to get to share everything we're doing. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we will be back after these messages with more Grey County Life on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Sharon Skelly, host and community producer of Community Close-Up on Rogers TV. We're back in studio after about 2 years with some great programming. Join me on Community Close-Up, where we meet great people from groups and organizations around Owen Sound and Grey County. And remember, it's your community, so take part. Join us again on Rogers TV or online.
Lovely viewers, it's your host of On the Couch, Antoine El Hashim, reminding you to tune in for every episode of Season 9 of the longest running and most loved local queer talk show on Rogers TV. Check it out.
Welcome back to Great County Life for your favorite segment. It's Adorable Adoptables with Miss Renee. And we've got a wildcat on our hands this week, Miss Renee. Who is this creature?
Oh my goodness. Apparently playtime should have happened before TV time because he's like chewing on my arm. Yay, kittens. They're so fun. This little monster who I thought was going to be hard to see because he was black. Turns out he's going to be hard to see because he's not going to sit here. Look, say hi. Yeah, I chew on my fingers. He is recently neutered. Apparently it has not slowed him down a single darn bit. He is 4.5 months of age, so very much a baby. Apparently he thinks he's a tiger. He does settle. I promise you, this is not his best self. And he will sit and cuddle, but he likes to have a good time, which is what he thinks he's doing right now. He has been with an older gentleman, so you can imagine why the little monkey is here, because he's full of spit and vinegar. How do you say that? Spice and vinegar? Spit and vinegar?
I don't know. Can say that on Rogers, can we?
I don't know. It's a word that we can't say. Thank you for the reminder. He's full of spice.
Good.
He's like off and running, and I'll catch him again in a second. He was just neutered on Friday. He's had his vaccines. He's been dewormed and defleed. So he is the perfect solution for somebody wanting a rambunctious, fun little kitten who wants something with the vetting already done. So yay for that. We see often people are discouraged by vet prices. They want kittens, but those are the things they're certainly concerned about. So it does give you the advantage to adopt from the animal shelter. He is right now chewing on my shoe. He would love a home with another cat or a dog or somebody to play with. Let's be honest. This guy is going to otherwise do exactly what he just did. He's going to chase you around and climb you and chew on you because it's fun. Kittens are a whole lot of activity, but they do settle quite young in life. Unlike a dog that sometimes takes a couple of years. I know people adopt puppies and they're like, oh no, what have I done? I'm like, yeah, well, good luck for the next 2 years. Kittens settle about 9 months of age. So the near future, he's going to start to settle. You're still going to get that fun, playful stage, quite obviously. But he is going to settle in the near future, and certainly having a buddy would help him do that. He is probably going to be just fine indoors only. He was an indoor-outdoor kitten, if you can imagine, in this cold weather. We'd like to see him indoor now, because certainly we always recommend that. They do a heck of a lot better, and they don't bring funny things into the home. So in the ideal world, a home where he can get the exercise that a kitten requires, well, he's in the home. Again, that's where that other pet comes in. If not, I mean, you could probably toss a jingly bell for him for hours. I'm quite content to think that he'll make his own fun if you don't amuse him anyway, as you saw. That's right. He's slowly creeping back over here. He's about to pounce into the screen. Again, he has his vetting done, so that's a bonus. Sometimes people are a little turned off by black cats. I mean, unfortunately, he's not showcasing black cats very well right this minute, but it's just a color. And in saying that, if you are someone who prefers a black cat, you definitely want to give us a call. Come here.
Does he have any of the white? He skidded off pretty fast. Does he have the tuxedo look at all?
He has, come here, let's show them your chest without chewing on my fingers. No, he has a white heart on his chest and little white flecks throughout his body. His name is Boots because of Puss in Boots, not because he's wearing boots. I mean, maybe right now it's because he's chewing on my boot again. But it is Puss in Boots that he was named after. Can you just be nice for 2 seconds? No, just for 2 seconds. No, you cannot swat my face. You cannot. No, you go away again. Does anybody want this cat? Please take this cat.
Please don't get this cat. Oh, Charlie's putting up his hand. Or you're saying, oh, no.
Come here.
Run circles around Charlie.
Oh my goodness, this is a whole lot of fun. Like I said, apparently we should have had playtime first. Who knew? I thought that would be amusing, but it's not. It's not amusing at all. Hey, it's not amusing at all.
How long can a cat be outside? Like, I know I take Charlie out for walks, but when it's bitterly, bitterly cold, we don't stay out there for very long. Cats that are in and out, they're going to be out. You wouldn't want them out all night. You want them in.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's actually harder on a cat that goes indoor, outdoor than it is on a cat that lives outdoors. Because what happens is they get the luxury of staying warm and cozy, which is great. Their winter coat doesn't develop the same. They don't adjust the same. It's like us. We're having a weird winter, aren't we? Where it's hot and it's cold and it's hot and it's cold. I mean, we're finding when it's cold, it's really, really cold because our bodies are not adjusted to it. And when we sort of settle into it, you kind of get the knack of it. I mean, I know myself, I'm finding it extra cold this year. And the same is true for cats. If they're spending time outside, they need to be able to get up off of the cold ground. Their poor little toes are standing in the snow. Imagine being barefoot in the snow. They need to be able to get fresh drinking water, which is really hard to do in the winter. We assume they eat snow. They don't. I think that we pick up more dehydrated and thirsty, emaciated animals in the winter than we ever do in the summer. And the bottom line is there's no fresh drinking water. Additionally to that, of course, frostbite. They've got sensitive toes, they got sensitive ears, they got all sorts of body parts that are exposed that we don't think about. We assume they're wearing a fur coat. I mean, they are, but not on their toes and not on their nose and not on their ears. And they often lose them. We've had a few come in this year missing some pieces, who are fine now, by the way. It's definitely also very disheartening for the owner because the pets often go missing when it's cold because they look for warm spots and then they can't find their way home. The chances of you losing your pet are pretty high in the winter. I mean, and what a terrible time to lose them because you're worried about the temperatures for sure.
Yeah.
Come here, you little monkey.
Well, Mary Jane and I were discussing this morning about Mr. Alfie and how absolutely adorable he was. And I think you've got some good news.
Yes, he was adopted, thank goodness. He got a great home and all is well in his world. She's going to ask me, Tag is still here. I'm still telling you, we've had some more people come and see him, more people thinking about him, but he is still here, mentioning it again, of course, with this face, just in case. Here's my little monkey chewing on my arm again. Here he is. Oh, you're back. You're gone. Oh, my goodness.
He is really adorable.
He is, but he's chewing on me. So, maybe he needs a teething ring. I don't know. He's not hurting.
Nice
he's
light
just
snack.
Exactly. Welcome to my world. I think this is a daily occurrence for me. The rest of the world thinks it's weird.
We're awfully glad that you come and you share your world with us every week with the adorable adoptables. We look forward to next week and hearing the status of little Mr. Boots. And see what happens with him. Yeah. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week on Grey County Life on Rogers TV.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
It was John's graduation. We were so proud. We all got together for a picnic. That's when we heard coming from the radio. So we stopped and we listened. It helped us get to safety. That's why when I think of John, because now he has a real future to look forward to.
That he fell. Whoa, I'm not driving. I'm way too stoned. How are you feeling, Beer?
Since we had that talk, I'm not driving tonight at all.
What about you?